Okay, I think I'm live. I never know with these things. Technology, technology is a bit of a struggle for me, but here we are. I think I'm live. I think it's working, and so just wanted, I really just wanted to come on and share all the stuff that's been happening in the background of my life that people simply don't know about. And I think it's really important to do that because social media is all about perception, right? It's like we see the person on the screen and we see them doing fun stuff and smiling, and so many assumptions can be made, and we often compare and contrast and we wind up feeling lesser than. And I really wanted to come and just get really honest with you all about really the last 5 years of my life, but more importantly, the last year of my life. So, really quick, just introduction. Most of you know me as the autistic ADHDer and CEO of Cira Center for Behavioral Health. And so, if you know me through that, then you've seen my posts with me smiling and talking about my business or talking about ADHD and autism. You see that my business is already big and it just keeps growing. And what that probably leaves you believing is that I'm like raking in the money and living my best life and I'm helping all these people, and golly gee, that's so cool. And like, is that partly true? Some of it, pieces, but it's certainly not the whole thing. So here's the deal. For the last 5 years, I have fucking hated my job. And I don't use the word hate lightly, especially these days. So I mean it when I say I have fucking hated my job. I mean, let me count the ways. COVID, limited by insurance, therapy starting to skew, all validation and no challenge, like unrealistic expectations from my team. It was like no matter what I did, somebody was pissed, somebody was unhappy, somebody wanted more, and I just started to shut down. I started to really shut down. And when I started shutting down because of a stress response, right, I started to hide from everything that I was feeling, right? Like, instead of actually dealing with those feelings and dealing with the reality that my business had become something that I did not intend it to, that I'm not happy, that I'm not making the money that I deserve, and just from a market value standpoint, that I should be being paid. Like, instead of dealing with any of those feelings or realities, I just hid from them and I just kind of stayed on the train. And because I created my business as a martyr and a people pleaser, guess what? When we martyr ourselves, when we fall on swords, when we people please, all in service of keeping other people happy, I don't have to tell you how that ends, right? It doesn't end well. And it has not ended well for me either. The burnout, the resentment, the overwhelm, the feeling like it's not a feeling, it's what I did. I doubled down on all the things that I'd been doing that weren't working because I was asleep. I was hiding. I was hiding from myself. I was hiding from my feelings. I was hiding from my life. Oh, I'm emotional just thinking about it now because I just couldn't fucking deal with it. That's what I told myself. I couldn't fucking deal with it. So just stay the course. Just keep doing all of the things that had never worked before, right? And that sounds crazy to say it out loud, but I'm saying it out loud because that's what so many of us do, right? So many of us feel like a victim to someone or something in our life. So many of us feel stuck in systems or patterns or habits or relationships that are not serving us. But we stay, and we often stay silent, and we just keep our mouths shut, and we just keep on keeping on. Why? We tell ourselves all sorts of things. I'm going to stay until the kids get older. Not me, other people. Happily married now. Thank you very much. I'm going to stay in this job until I can find another. I'm not going to say the thing to my boss that I really want to say. It's like we convince ourselves that staying the course is the right thing to do, all the while our body is telling us there's a problem. Our emotions are telling us there's a problem. Our life is telling us there's a problem, and we are ignoring the problem, right? And so I woke up to the reality, I don't know, a year or two ago, where I'm making nowhere near the amount of money that I'm supposed to make. My business is barely profitable. Barely profitable. We have a razor thin margin because, again, I built it as a martyr and I've given it all away, and now I've set up systems that ensure that will continue to be the case. I'm not bankrupt, so I can't file for bankruptcy. I can't sell. It's not worth anything. I felt stuck. So fucking stuck. But oh God, so emotional. It's been so hard. And I felt like a failure being honest about that. Being honest about my lack of motivation, being honest about the financial reality of my business, because it's so different than how it's perceived, right? So I realized that I really needed to change, and not just doubling down on old stuff that has never worked. Not just like, let's come up with new services for CCBH. Like, I needed to change because I'm the one that created this thing to begin with, right? So, the impact, though, of living out of alignment really has taken an enormous toll on me, though, right? And the more I refused to sit with my feelings and unconsciously double down on what had like never worked in the first place because I was stuck in a stress response, like the worse it got, right? But we all do this. We all do this. So I started to really think about like, what actually needs to change about me? How did I even fucking get here? How did I get to this point that I have this big successful business that is in fact helping lots of people, but I feel miserable in it and I'm not making any money and I hate showing up every day for work? How did I even get here? So when I really finally sat with that reality and started to feel and think my way through this journey and how I got here, I started to realize that I was telling myself so many stories about being stuck. And why was I telling myself all these stories? Because I was caught in a stress response. Okay, so I have to get out of stress. How the fuck do I do that? Because I happen to be a trauma psychologist. If anyone should know how to get themselves out of a trauma response or chronic stress, it's me. But I was like, all this shit that I've done for myself, that I have helped others do, hasn't worked. Sure, did therapy get me to a better place with some of it? Yes. Has like meditation, exercise, diet, like, yeah, I've done all the things and I'm still fucking stressed out every single day of my life. Why? Because I completely forgot that I am radically responsible for my life. I am radically responsible for my life. If my business or my marriage or my family or whatever, my life isn't working for me, who the fuck is going to take care of it if not me? And that is so silly to say out loud because, duh, of course, we're all adults. We are all responsible. I had straight up forgotten, though. I had zero responsibility left in me. And that's when real change happened, is when I realized that I am the one responsible for this mess. I am also the one responsible for cleaning it up. So how the fuck am I going to do that? And over the last year, I've been doing that quietly, arduously, behind the scenes, trying to right all of my wrongs. And again, not out there, but in here. Because if I'm changing all the shit out here, but nothing inside of me is changing, has anything really changed? No. I am just destined to do the same thing in another phase of my life, in another place. I needed to change. And so lately, I've been sitting down and being like, how did I do it? How did I actually make all of these changes? How is CCBH turning a better profit for the first time in literally 5 years? How am I feeling happy and joyful about my life again? Why am I excited to go to work again? Like, how did these things actually happen? And I mapped it all out. And what I had left was something that I am calling the Sacred Power Framework, which is how I radically transformed my life. And in not the ways that traditional mental health models and traditional talk therapy would have me and us and you and everybody believing that we change. What the Sacred Power Framework is its radical responsibility, which brings us into sacred power, which is just simply our ability and trust in ourselves to sit with what we're feeling, even though that's really fucking hard because it hurts. Whatever you're going through, it hurts. Whether it's something you feel stuck in a marriage that's not working, you feel stuck in a job that's not working, you feel stuck with, you love your family, but there's something in your family or with your kids that's not working. Whatever it is you feel stuck in and you feel like a victim to, this is where the rubber meets the road. And this is where I decided that I needed to make some big changes. And I want to invite you all to hear about the changes that I made and to teach you this framework, which is quite literally saving my life. So I'm having a masterclass. I recognize that people don't have the time and bandwidth to like commit to a mini course or whatever. So it's just a 2-hour masterclass where I am going to walk you through all the elements of the Sacred Power Framework. And it is going to be based in psychology, but it's so much more than that. It's also based in neuroscience and how our brain actually works. You're going to better understand why you feel stuck, what is actually happening in your brain that keeps you stuck, and how talking and just naming it is not going to change it. I really wish it did. It would be a whole lot easier to sell therapy. Talking doesn't change it. That's what I've learned. But there are things that can change it, and I'm going to teach you what those things are. So you are going to walk away from this 2-hour masterclass with a very clear blueprint about exactly what you need to get to do to get unstuck wherever you are feeling stuck, okay? And because you're here watching this live and you know me via Facebook or in real life or both, whatever it is, I'm going to sell it to you for only $50. Other people, it's going to be a lot more. But for you, in the next 48 hours, it's only $50. So I want to see you there. And this is where you can already start to notice how you keep yourself stuck. If you say to yourself, well, that day is really hard. Ooh, those times don't quite work for me. This is part of how you keep yourself stuck. This is part of how I've kept myself stuck, is by imposing limitations that are not the truthiest truth. Maybe they're a little true. Maybe it is a crazy day for you. Maybe that time isn't ideal. But the question comes down to who is going to change your life? It's you. Spoiler alert. It is you. So if you are feeling stuck, make a commitment to be there. I want to see you there because while we are radically responsible for our own lives, nobody is coming to save us. That should be abundantly clear at this point in American history. No one is coming to save us. We are radically responsible for our lives, but we need to be doing it in community and with each other. So I very much hope to see you there. The link will be in the comments. Thanks for being here with me.